Hi guys, it's Chris from Extraordinary Photography and North Corner Studios, just talking to you today about the new Pixapro CITI600 light. So the main selling point to me with this light is obviously the battery. So I run a busy studio, and having 3 or 4 of these set up with just the battery on tour rather than having cables and extensions and a potential trip hazard, so that's a massive advantage for me. So you can see the battery is extremely lightweight. It's got its own power indicator on the top, so even if you've got 2 or 3 batteries and you're not sure how much is in them, you can just press the button and it gives you an idea on how much charge you've got left. It literally just slides on the back of the camera and you're good to go. Now, having that versatility to move the light around wherever you want, whether it's indoors or on location, through not having trailing wires or anything else, or even a battery pack hanging, it just makes it that much easier to use and to move around. So, you know, whether I'm shooting in this room in my studio or shooting in the main studio, I can literally lift this light stand up, put it through the door, move location, and then shoot exactly the same setup in any space. So there's 2 main trigger systems you can use for this camera. Now I use the fairly simple manual system, which is this one here. That unit speaks directly to the USB receiver on there, which means I can control and trigger the light directly from the top of the camera. Or if you're using the TTL function, there's the ST-III trigger system. Again, this speaks directly to the unit. You can set it up on different channels. So if you're using multiple light setups and control everything from the top of there, including your TTL function too, which gives you a massive opportunity. The range on these is tremendous, so 25 meters at least. So another great advantage of this light is the LED model lamp. So I shoot with model lamps quite a lot if I'm shooting shallow apertures, so 1.4, 1.8, to get a really natural look with models. And this has got a 3-stage model lamp on this, which is really useful. So you can see just by pressing this button on the side of the camera, on the side of the unit there, we can change the luminance of that model lamp, which is just a single light panel you can see behind the lamp there. And then bulb itself, it's encased, it's very easy to change, just the 3 prongs. You literally pull it out and plug it back in should you need to change it, and they're obviously available through Pixapro too. In terms of adjustments on the panel here, so as I said, everything can be adjusted through the trigger system, or if you're in close vicinity of the light or using a manual trigger or your own sync cables, it's adjusted on the side of the unit here, 3rd stop increments, and like I say, you can go from full power right down to 256 power, meaning the range is absolutely massive for whatever you're shooting. So this version is a TTL version. Pixapro also offer a manual version too. Now I don't tend to shoot a lot with TTL, but I can totally see the advantages of this. So if you were shooting an event outside and it was constantly changing conditions, so bright sunshine to cloud to bright sunshine, the beauty of having this is the TTL, using the TTL remote system will figure that out for you without you having to change any settings on your camera, and it'll expose perfectly every time, and it just gives you that bit more time to concentrate on your subject rather than fiddling around with camera settings. And as I say, the full manual version just gives you full power over what you're shooting and then changing your settings either via the remote or via the unit on the side. The shoot we used this on recently with Harriet, so we had the whole shoot sort of planned out. It was inspired a bit by a Vanity Fair shoot with Benedict Cumberbatch, so the idea being that we had Harriet in the woods, we used some smoke behind her, we backlit it with some speed lights, but our main light on this one was a Pixapro CITI600. So the first setup was literally shot in long grass, and we used a little pathway through the middle of that. We had Harriet standing there with the sun backlighting her, and the Great Dane standing beside her. We used the City with an octobox attached just up to the left-hand side of Harriet, and when shooting straight into the sun and full power on the City, we could expose perfectly and just give a really dramatic look for that too. And we used a little speed light to light the dog as well, just to add that little more oomph to the fur of the dog. So the second setup we shot was in some trees, so we put a smoke machine behind Harriet, we put a couple of speed lights there just to light that smoke behind, and had the City set up on front with a deep dish reflector, a 45-degree reflector with a grid attached. And what that meant was we could really underexpose the trees and the forest behind while bringing out Harriet using the light, and it gave us a really dramatic setting for that too.